And this is Morning Express on this 22nd day of February 2016. It's time for us to look at the way it is. And the way it is generally, we just look at politically what some of the things that have been happening over the week and the implications that they may have on us as a country, and also not just within Kenya but within the region. So of course, with Uganda going to the polls, we're going to be looking at some of what happened there. And of course, as we prepare for 2017, are there lessons, if any, that we can learn from Uganda? And let me go straight to introducing the panel this morning. And to my extreme left, we have Ambrose Weda, who is a lawyer. Thank you for joining us, and karibu sana. I hope you had a good weekend.
It was great. It was wonderful. Had a nice weekend.
Okay.
Restful.
Okay. Excellent. We also have Noah Akala, who is the Deputy Director for Elections in ODM. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good to have you. And last but not least, we have a Member of Parliament from Bere, and that is Muriuki Njagagwa. Karibu sana.
Asante mkubwa.
All right. Well, let's start with what we have on the headlines this morning on the Daily Nation. And of course, corruption and greed has been a major issue that we have had in this country. And let me start with you, Member of Parliament, because this is really part of where you are, the Members of Parliament to pocket 3 billion in irregular pay. That's the headlines. Muriuki Njagagwa, in your own defense, why would you Members of Parliament want to do that to this country?
It's straight law that we were elected for a term of 5 years. But for some certain reasons, I hear and I'm told that the elections have been brought forward to August next year. So we'll be losing about 8 months of our parliamentary term. So it's only fair that Kenyans considers and pays for the unserved term, because the constitution is clear that we serve for 5 years. So I believe it's either we do one thing, we hold the next elections in 2018, March, we serve a full term, or we cut it short by about 8 months, then we get paid for the unserved term. So it's actually, it's not, yeah,
so your reason for moving the elections purely would be for you to get paid?
Not get paid, but we need also to get compensated for the term that we've not served. I mean, the constitution is clear, we do a 5-year term. Why isn't everybody letting us do the 5 years?
Okay. Noah Akala, do you feel that that is fair? I mean, it is, as it were, from their point of view, justified that they're going to lose 5 months.
8 months.
8 months, sorry.
I don't agree with Mweshimiwa on this point, for the simple reason that when the elections were conducted on March 4th of 2013, they knew that the elections had to be conducted on the second Tuesday of August following that, after 5 years. So they knew that their term was going to come to an end on August 8th, 2017. So they were not walking into this contract, this social contract with the people blind. They knew the terms and conditions, and if they had a problem with that, the appropriate time to have raised it would have been then, not now midstream. And another important point to consider is that they're serving. You know, it's not a favor that they're doing us. They're serving the people of Kenya. And when you're conducting a public service, you ought to consider that it should be in the interests of the people, not self-interest. For how long are 40 million Kenyans going to pay the bill for 290 individuals?
Okay. Ambrose Weda, do you feel that this is greed from the Members of Parliament, or is it just, you know, literally just asking for what they're worth?
You know, Honorable Muriuki Njagagwa was my classmate and a good friend of mine. If it were not so, I would have jumped over with my teeth just for Kenyans to see how angry I am at that situation. I've always maintained it here. First, these people are already earning illegal salaries. Salaries that the Salaries and Remuneration Commission did not give them. They twisted themselves into those salaries. And I keep on saying these monies will be recovered. That is clear. 2, it is not their term. Under the Constitution 2010, each person, the country, everybody paid a price. Some price. Even the judges who are retiring at 74 are supposed to retire at 70. Now these people knew fully well, as my friend Mr. Akala says, that election date in the next election is in August and has been set as 8th of August. So to say our salaries or serving a short term or being compensated is not only greed, it is arranging to steal from the people of Kenya. Even if you steal by sheer numbers and threats and I'm twisting, after you leave office, we will organize ourselves into various NGOs and cover it individually now when you don't have the strength of the collective parliamentarian. So we will be going for you as an individual. And I can assure you the courts will also declare that this salary is illegal and individually you recover. So as you plan to do this illegal, heinous crime against the people of Kenya, be sure that you will pay the price. This is wrong, immoral. If elections are in August and they are leaving, even if they left today, let them approve the budget today, and then they go home. What else are they doing even now?
Okay. Noah, let me come to you. And
Yes.
of course, one of the things that Kenyans would ask is the fact that the opposition and government seem to agree when it comes to matters of payment. That's the only time they seem to be in agreement. What would your comment be on that, given that there are other possibly developmental things that they disagree, but when it comes to their pay, when it comes to their own money, they seem to be a consensus?
The primary spokespersons for the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy are the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, and Senator Moses Wetangula. No other person can offer an opinion that overrides that of our three core principles. And our three core principles have been clear in no uncertain terms on multiple occasions that the date of the elections ought to be August the 8th, and that any attempt to extend the date of elections will be defrauding the people of Kenya. So any other opinion you hear outside of the opinion rendered by those three is an individual opinion. It's not the position of the coalition. So I want to make it clear today, our three core principles have stated on multiple occasions in the past, and will continue to state so, that any attempt to extend the date of elections is defrauding the people of Kenya.
But this is not an extension of the election date. This is saying that since the election date may not change, those 8 months that we may not be in office, we want to be paid. And there seems to be consensus in members of parliament, be it from Jubilee or from the opposition.
As I said before, the core principles are the overriding factor in our coalition. They are the leaders, and they have made it clear. I don't know how much clearer I can make it. Anything outside of the parameters laid by these three is not the official position of the
So
coalition.
are you saying that then the members from the opposition would not be privy to this information and are not in agreement?
We have had several parliamentary group meetings in which this issue has been discussed. Some voices of dissent have been raised about this, which is normal in any coalition. But as I said, we have our leaders, and our leaders have made the position of the coalition clear. Full stop.
Okay.
My take on it is that maybe that or those are their spokesmen outside Parliament, but Parliament has its own leadership. In the Senate, I think one of their core principles is a leader, is part of the leadership in Parliament. I mean, in the Senate, when we come to the National Assembly, we have Jakoyo, we have Duale, and like you say, there is consensus from where I come from the house that I come from, that we've not served, or we are not going to serve these 8 months. Wenda is my friend. We've known each other since the days of the NYS, when we were at the NYS, and he is always trying to bully me since then. But that aside,
Is that NYS you are serving or NYS the scandal? You know, right now, NYS, which you and I
no,
is very clear.
the national youth service.
As you were serving?
As we were serving, not the
Okay.
scandal.
Okay.
So what we are saying is that we were all set as we came to Parliament that we're going to serve for a term of 5 years. This issue that we should have contested then, how could we contest when we were not even members of Parliament? Number two, I don't think anybody twisted Salah Salem. There was negotiation about our salaries, about our allowances, and she consented to what leadership put forward, Parliament leadership put forward. Actually, even what we wanted, she slashed it. We never got what really members wanted, either in terms of allowances, sitting allowance, traveling allowance. But we got to a middle ground, and there was consensus that let us take that, and we were comfortable with it, and we are comfortable with it. So these 8 months, my take is let us get paid, then we meet our opponents on the ballot.
What would you say to Kenyans? What would you confidently face Kenyans and tell them why you deserve that? Because it
Of
feels
course,
like they're being, something is being taken from the, using the back door.
Of course, all over the world, politicians are hated. I'll tell you that for free. So that is why you can find all that
So
opposition.
you're okay going ahead with it,
That's why you
despite
can
the
see
fact-
all that opposition from my two good friends that this is not deserved.
It is not just from your two good friends. There's quite a number of Kenyans who feel
They're also
that
Kenyans.
Yes,
They're also
they are.
Kenyans.
True, but there's a number of Kenyans who feel that this is unfair.
You know, either way, I have stated my position, and
How
I'm
would
reading
you-
from the same script from my leadership in Parliament. So let me not just get away from it. I'm part of it. I mean, ask any
Okay,
member of Parliament.
how
they'll
would
tell
you justify to Kenyans who are watching you right now that this is not just selfish gain for MPs, but it is well deserved? How would you justify that?
Why don't we take it, push it to the other level and say, okay, Kenyans, let's serve our 5 years. Let us conduct our general elections in 2018, March. And we move on without getting paid. I mean, we're not getting paid for unserved term, but let us serve our full term. Then we do we conduct the general elections in March 2018.
But then again, somebody would still argue now we are moving the elections and the whole country and the constitution for the sake of members of parliament. Whether let me hear from you.
I know my classmate and friend, a good man, in the wrong company. He's joined the wrong company of thieves. Now they come up with either push the elections or give us the money. Normally, the money that the parliamentarians earn is mostly in allowances and sittings, doing business on behalf of the people of Kenya. The same people are saying, stop the business here. Now they say, we must continue. So it's not like a salary where you are earning every month, where you are saying that I will lose the salary. The allowances. 2, you cannot change the date unless you do an amendment of the constitution. Now, the greed would push them to try to move the amendment. Luckily, Almighty God, Jehovah Jireh, is with us that you have to do a referendum.
Yeah.
Now, we will not allow you. In fact, if you do opinion polling, you can see we are saying, even the president himself, he wanted to extend his term by a day. I will say, Your Excellency, you're my good friend, but no extension of term. We are not Uganda, we are not Rwanda. We are Kenya, and we are in a better state. So this hunger for money, our members of parliament should know, will not go through. We will not give you a shilling extra. We will not push the date, and we are ready. That is a fact.
All right. Let me come to you now, and maybe let's move on to something else, because I'm sure this one will agree to disagree for now. And we'll wait to hear what Kenyans have to say. I'd love to hear what you have to say regarding this particular proposal by the members of parliament. Do that via Twitter. I will read them as we get closer to the end of this particular discussion. But now, let's come back to matters. I think we'll have to wind it there. But before that, I'd just like to involve part of the panel that is at home on some of your comments. And we have Kemayo, who says that's impossible because I'm convinced that the house turns angels into pigs, not inverse. Okay, I think that's referring to that particular. So please do take to your fellow members. I know that's what a Kenyan is thinking. I wish they would listen, but they never do. Do they? That's, I guess, to both sides of the divide. Now, by taming greed among, somebody says here that first we should start by taming greed amongst the journalists. Okay, so journalists also having their own flag right there. Pay them and send them all home. We will have done justice to ourselves. But of course, come 2017, we go back to the polls. And comments still coming in, but thank you very much. And our panel this morning, thank you very much for coming in and just painting it the way it is. And to my extreme left, Ambrose Weda, who's a lawyer. We have Noah Kala, who is Deputy Director for Elections in ODM. And last but not least, Muriuki Njagagwa, who is Member of Parliament from Bere. Thank you, gentlemen, for the way it is. That's where we're going to have to wind up the way it is this morning. And thank you for joining us. But do stay with us right here. We've got News Hour coming up at exactly 8 o'clock.